France built a fighter jet that has never lost a dogfight. Israel looked at it, studied it, and deliberately walked away. Not because the Rafale was inferior. But because Israel doesn't just buy weapons, it buys strategic architecture. And in a threat environment where detection means annihilation, invisibility is not a feature, it is the entire doctrine. What you're about to hear is not a procurement story. It's a masterclass in existential risk management. Israel operates inside the world's most electromagnetically contested airspace, surrounded by S-300 batteries, Iranian proxy networks, and Russian-supplied integrated air defense systems. To survive that environment, you need more than firepower. You need low observability, sensor fusion, interoperability with U.S. intelligence architecture, and the sovereign authority to modify your own weapons. The Rafale couldn't offer all of that. The F-35I Adir, meaning Mighty One, could. And as of January 2026, Israel now operates 48 of them, with a contracted fleet ceiling of 75. This is why Israel chose the F-35, and what that decision reveals about the future of fifth-generation air combat strategy. In the late 2000s, the Israeli Air Force initiated its next-generation recapitalization program, a strategic framework to replace aging F-16 airframes with a platform capable of contested airspace penetration, multi-domain sensor fusion, and long-range precision strike. Two candidates emerged: the Dassault Rafale, a battle-tested 4.5-generation multi-role platform with an unblemished air-to-air record, and the Lockheed Martin F-35 Lightning II, a fifth-generation low-observable strike system then still maturing in development. Israel's evaluation was never a simple capability comparison. It was a full-spectrum strategic audit covering stealth performance, alliance interoperability, sovereign modification rights, and deterrence geometry against Iran. The answer, formalized in a $2.75 billion FMS agreement signed October 2010, was unambiguous. The F-35I Adir, credit where it is categorically due, the Dassault Rafale is a generational achievement in European aerospace engineering. Its Spectre electronic warfare suite delivers threat suppression capabilities that benchmark against any peer-tier adversary system. The Meteor Beyond visual range missile, integrated exclusively with the Rafale among Western platforms, provides a no-escape zone envelope that tactically exceeds AIM 120 AMRAAM. Combat deployments over Libya, Mali, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria produced zero aerial attrition. Its Canard Delta aerodynamics enable sustained turn rates that no fourth-generation adversary can match. Qatar, Egypt, Greece, Croatia, India, and Indonesia have all acquired it. The Rafale's export trajectory is, by any measure, a market validation of its operational credibility. Israel's rejection was never a verdict on the Rafale's capability. It was a verdict on Israel's singular threat calculus. Israel operates against an adversarial air defense architecture that includes Russian-supplied S-300 batteries deployed in Syria, Iranian long-range surveillance radar networks, and Hezbollah integrated IADS fed by Tehran. Against these overlapping sensor grids, a detectable aircraft is not merely at risk. It is a viable engagement target before it crosses the border. The F-35's all-aspect radar cross-section, maintained through internal weapons carriage and low observable surface shaping, renders it effectively transparent to the threat arrays Israel routinely operates against. The Rafale, despite its formidable Spectre jamming suite, remains a 4.5-generation platform, electromagnetically visible to advanced S-300 PMU-2 engagement radars at operationally significant ranges. For Israel's deep strike mission profiles, particularly those targeting hardened Iranian infrastructure, low observability is not a performance advantage. It is the fundamental entry requirement. The F-35 program is not an aircraft purchase. It is an access credential to the world's most sophisticated multi-domain battle network. Acquiring the F-35I granted Israel integration into U.S. space-based surveillance architecture, NSA tier signals intelligence feeds, Link 16, and MADAL data link protocols, and joint targeting frameworks that no European platform can replicate. The United States provides Israel with over $3.8 billion in annual foreign military financing, a structural subsidy that materially reduces the F-35's acquisition cost premium over the Rafale. France, regardless of diplomatic intentions, cannot offer NSA satellite access, cannot integrate Israeli systems into CENTCOM targeting networks, and does not share war room intelligence at the operational level that U.S.-Israeli bilateral protocols provide. The alliance architecture surrounding the F-35 is in isolation a decisive capability multiplier. Israel is the only F-35 operator globally authorized to integrate indigenous systems at the platform architecture level. The F-35I Adir, a designation formally acknowledged by the U.S. DoD, incorporates classified Israeli-developed electronic warfare suites layered over the baseline ANASQ-239 system, bespoke IDF-specific data link configurations, domestically certified air-to-air munitions including the Python, 5 and Derby, and precision-guided strike weapons including the Spice 1000 and Spice 200, all while preserving internal bay low observable carriage geometry. Israel also operates the world's only F-35 testbed aircraft outside the United States, stationed at Tel Nof Air Base, enabling continuous national weapons integration without dependency on Lockheed's central certification pipeline. Dassault's export framework offers no comparable sovereign customization latitude. France retains architectural control over every Rafale delivered abroad, a constraint Israel's doctrine structurally cannot accept. Iran's nuclear infrastructure is dispersed across hardened, deeply buried facilities. Natanz, Fordow, Isfahan, positioned between 1,600 and 2,000 kilometers from Israeli territory, defended by layered air defense networks, and overflown by Russian-built radar coverage. A conventional strike package against those facilities requires first-phase suppression of enemy air defenses, electronic warfare, overmatch, and platform survivability in a fully contested electromagnetic environment. The F-35I's low observable profile provides plausible ingress geometry against Iranian IAADS that no non-stealth platform can credibly replicate. Per Israeli defense analysis published in early 2026, the IAF's planned expansion to 75 ADs, supported by additional aerial refueling tankers confirmed for 2026 delivery, is explicitly structured around sustained multi-sortie long-range operations. The Iran contingency is not a hypothetical scenario. It is the organizing principle of Israeli air power acquisition strategy. Strategic memory is a core variable in Israeli defense procurement. In June 1967, President de Gaulle imposed a unilateral arms embargo on Israel, freezing delivery of 50 Mirage 5 airframes already contracted and paid for on the eve of the Six-Day War. That embargo forced Israel to reverse engineer the Mirage 3 into the IAI Kfir through classified industrial espionage at Bedek Aviation. The institutional lesson was codified into Israeli procurement doctrine. No single foreign supplier can hold veto authority over Israeli operational capability. France's contemporary posture compounds that historical precedent. Paris actively calibrates arms policy against its Gulf state relationships, its Iran diplomacy track, and its strategic positioning within the European Union. A Rafale dependency which structurally exposes Israel to recurring French political leverage, a dependency architecture that Israeli strategic planning explicitly prohibits regardless of current bilateral relations. In May 2018, IAAF Commander Major General Amikam Norkin confirmed Israel as the first nation globally to employ the F-35 in live combat operations. precision strikes executed inside Syrian airspace against Iranian proxy logistics infrastructure, conducted against active Russian radar surveillance, with zero aircraft attrition or detection acknowledgement. In March 2021, Israeli F-35 is executed the world's first operational F-35 intercept, destroying 2 Iranian Shahed 197 drones. In March 2026, an IIF Adir achieved the first ever F-35 shootdown of a manned enemy fighter, destroying an Iranian Air Force Yak-130, the first aerial kill of a crewed aircraft by any fifth-generation platform in history. Operation Days of Repentance in October 2024 further demonstrated the Adir's strategic penetration capability against Iranian territory. With over 15,000 operational flight hours and a 90% mission readiness rate, versus 51.5% for the U.S. Air Force's own F-35A fleet. Israel's Adir is the most combat-validated F-35 variant on the planet. The F-35I unit acquisition cost, approximately $96 million per airframe at initial contract, is unambiguously higher than the Rafale's export pricing. On a raw unit economics basis, France's jet wins the procurement calculus. That framing, however, is strategically illiterate in Israel's context. U.S. foreign military financing absorbs a material portion of Israeli F-35 expenditure. Lockheed Martin and Pratt & Whitney have committed to embedding Israeli defense industries in F-35 component production, generating domestic industrial offset revenue that partially recoups acquisition cost. The intelligence interoperability, real-time targeting data access, software upgrade pathways, and joint operations architecture bundled into the F-35 program generate asymmetric capability value that has no Rafale equivalent and no assignable dollar figure. Israel's June 2nd, $024 $3 billion supplemental agreement for 25 additional Adirs, targeting a 75 aircraft ceiling by 2030, reflects a procurement confidence that transcends unit price analysis. Israel's selection of the F-35I over the Rafale is a doctoral-level case study in how an operationally experienced, threat-saturated military makes acquisition decisions when failure is existential. Low observability over kinematic agility, multi-domain sensor fusion over raw payload capacity, alliance-embedded intelligence over platform independence, sovereign modification authority over vendor lock-in, deterrence geometry against a near-nuclear adversary over pure competition air combat. The Rafale will serve a dozen nations with distinction across the next 3 decades. It is an exceptional machine, but the Israeli Air Force operates in a strategic environment of singular complexity, contesting Iranian proxy networks, Russian-supplied iodines, and a nuclear threshold adversary simultaneously. In that environment, 4th-generation excellence is insufficient. 5th-generation architecture is mandatory. Israel understood this first, and the F-35I's unmatched operational record, validated in actual combat against actual threats at actual range, proves they were right.